Any other councillor that is present? I see Councillor Gwaza here. Councillor, are you there?
Thank you, Chair. I'm present.
Thank you. Thank you. I also see Councillor Porter.
Afternoon, Chairperson. I'm present. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Apologies, Chairperson.
Yeah, who's speaking?
Councillor Kutsia, I just dropped off the call by accident. Apologies. I'm standing in as a secondee.
All right. Thank you. Is Councillor Aniki is not in today, no? Are you standing in for?
Yes, I'm standing in for Councillor Jansen van Rensburg.
Thank you so much. Councillor Baka, are you in? Councillor Gous, are you there? Councillor Mvumvu? And Councillor Kanamaya? Carolyn, are you in? I forgot to say this morning in the committee meetings about the MPAC meeting. I hope the members didn't forget. But before we start, I think I must ask Mr. Henry Laus just to check for us. Is there somebody, if there are people that is struggling with their computers, because it's 2 o'clock already and we need to start.
Okay, I'm going to follow up. I currently see yourself, Councillor Meyer, Councillor Porter, Councillor Gwaza, and Councillor Kutsia from the committee in. And then I see Director Naidu, Director Elise Snell, Director Potgieter, the municipal manager is present. I also see Mpo from the Auditor General at the moment. I see Councillor Barker has joined. And then I'm going to try and call in the other councillors of the committee quickly.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Henry Laus. That means we have a quorum at least. Yeah, we are more than a quorum. So we are still waiting on Councillor Gous.
Chairperson?
Yes.
Councillor Kannemeyer is struggling to get in. She's just having some technical difficulties.
All right, thank you so much. It's just Gous and Kannemeyer from the councillors. Councillor Aniki was not there, but the secondary is there for her. So yeah, we are almost full house. Just waiting on Councillor Gous. But in the meantime, we will carry on. Let me just check here. Councillor Erika, is it fine with you? If you open for us with a prayer, please.
Kom ons sluit ons oë. Onse Vader in die hemel, Here, ons kom sê dankie vir die reën wat so mildelik val, Here. Here, ons sê dankie vir die krag en genade. En Hemelse Vader, jy wat ons besig is met 'n vergadering, ag Here, wie is U ons leidsman? Dit wat U gesê en gedoen word, Here, laat ons dit ter eer van ons breë gemeenskap sal doen. Ons vra dit nie omdat ons verdien nie, maar ons vra dit enkel uit genade met baie, baie danksegging. In Jesus wonderlike naam, amen.
Thank you so much, Councillor Erika Meyer. Really appreciate. I think we will carry on. We will see when Councillor Kannemeyer and Councillor Gous become part of the meeting.
Hi,
So from
Chairperson,
that-
I'm in. Chairperson, I'm present. Councillor
All right,
Kannemeyer.
All right, Councillor Kannemeyer, I hear you. I will mark you present here. Thank you so much. From my side, I want to welcome everybody present within our meeting. All the councillors, Councillor Barker. Is Councillor Barker in? Not yet. Oh no, so sorry, Councillor Barker is in. Councillor Barker.
Chair, I am in, yes.
Thank you so much, Councillor Barker. Councillor Mvumvu. Sorry, I didn't hear him. Is he in? There's Councillor Janet Gous also coming in now. So the only one now is Councillor Mvumvu. Yeah, if he's in, he must just talk to me. So welcome everybody. Councillor Barker, Councillor Kannemeyer, Councillor Erika Meyer, Councillor Janet Gous, Councillor Faisal Porter, and Councillor Gwaza, Councillor Port and Councillor Ludovic Kuchia. Councillor Porter, my good friend, I hope you are better very soon. I can hear on your voice you are not ready yet. But thanks for you to become part of our meeting. Then I also want to welcome our municipal manager, Councillor, the municipal manager, Mr. Colin Puren, the director, Venter, Carol Venter, Mrs. Annette Potgieter, our new corporate director, then also Mr. Naidu, Mr. Dick Naidu, Mrs. Elise Nell, Mr. Orlando Fredericks, Mr. Henry Williamson from Community Safety side, and then also from the Auditor General's office. I also want to welcome Ms. Nzamela when she will do her presentation. I want to all the management that is with her, the officials, they can just mention their names, and she must also assist me with the pronunciation of her name and the surname. Because last year I called her Nzamela. She must just say to me if I'm still correct. Other people say I must say Ms. Ntos. Yeah, she can assist us there. But welcome also to the Auditor General's office that will also give a presentation. The reason for our meeting, and then I also want to welcome the most important people, that is our community members. That is also part of this meeting, that is interested in their business, because it is their business that we are doing here today. So welcome lastly to the most important, our community members. Vote all of us that is sitting here as councillors into this position to represent them. So thank you so much. So the reason for our meeting today at MPAC is the consideration of our 2022 annual report. Meaning is the 2021-2022 financial year. So we are going a year back and we check what happened during the last financial year, 2021 and 2022. So today we want to start off to give the Auditor General's office the first opportunity, because I know they are busy people. So I think the senior manager, Ms. Nzamela, if I understand correctly, will do the presentation. And then we will ask questions for this that is not clear to us. So just want to check, Ms. Nzamela, are you in and ready for your presentation?
Good afternoon, Chairperson. Good afternoon to all the members of the committee as well as the management team. Yes, I am in now. Thank you, Chairperson, and apologies for just being late. I was just running from meeting to meeting. With me, I've got Mpho Kganye, who was the manager on the audit, and Mpho is gonna just do the presentation for us. But in terms of the introduction, yes, we are going to just present the audit outcomes of the previous financial year. And with that is also to respond to questions that the committee might have specifically on the areas that we are focusing on and will be presenting. Thank you,
Thank you,
Chairperson.
sir.
I will now hand over to Mpho to actually do the presentation. Thank you, and over to you, Mpho.
Thank you, Ms. Paul. You're
Thank
welcome.
you. Thank you, Sintosh. Good afternoon, Chair and the members of the committee. Just allow me to share the presentation with you. Please let me know if everybody can see the presentation.
Yeah, no, it's on our computers. We all can see. Thank you so much.
Thank you. As Sintosh mentioned, this will just be an overview of the audit outcome for the previous financial year, being the 2021-22 financial year. Obviously, as we are all aware of the mission of the Auditor General, which is to enable and strengthen our country's democracy by enabling oversight, accountability, and governance in the public sector through auditing, thereby building public confidence. So this is, in essence, captures how we do the audit, and that is to ensure that the funds that are being provided to the municipality is spent accordingly, and just not driving also the audit outcomes. In terms of the purpose of the documents, Sintosh has already touched on that as well, that we are just having a brief executive summary of the audit outcomes of the municipality. If you will allow me, Chair, to skip the overview, as I'm sure we are all familiar with it.
Yes, thank you.
And also the organizational structure. And this is based on the structure as it was when we ended the audit last year. So any changes in the interim has not been captured on the structure. In terms of the funding, the municipality overspent on its overall budget, and this is as a result of non-cash basis items. For instance, they had a change in the valuation role, and this resulted in an impairment loss for the investment property. And in the same breath, when you're looking at the capital budget, there was an underspending on that. And the reason as well has been captured in this slide, being that when human settlements provided funding to the municipality, they incorrectly gazetted for it, and the municipality did not have time to adjust the budget in order to allow for the money to be used. And all these are actually captured also in the financial statements, and that is in note 52 of the financial statements. In terms of the audit opinion history, as you can see, the municipality has been what we call green, which is they've achieved a clean audit for the last 3 financial years. And as you are capturing the reason for the outcomes, it actually comes from a very strong tone at the top for the municipality in terms of the controls. So even if there were those findings in compliance and in predetermined objectives and the financial statements were not material. And I think just to capture or to elaborate more, for instance, if I can also relate to the number of findings that we've raised last year. I think the number of comments that we raised were about 14, if I stand corrected on that. And that is also revealed a very majorly drop in findings for SCM. So that is, it shows that management is concerned about controls, that they're implementing controls, even though there are slip-ups, but then those are not material in nature. Also to note that the financial viability has been assessed as concerning, and that is due to some negative indicators that have been identified. However, there has not been any findings identified in respect of how the municipality uses their financial resources. In terms of irregular expenditure, and that also links to where I said there was also a major drop in the findings for supply chain. In the year that we audited, the municipality incurred R1 million of irregular expenditure, and that related to payments made to suppliers which were above the amount awarded. In respect of this, and it's also disclosed in the note for irregular expenditure, is that disciplinary action is being taken. So in the future, there may not be a reoccurrence. In terms of our key focus areas being compliance and predetermined objectives, in terms of compliance, there were no material findings raised. And in terms of predetermined objectives, we evaluated the usefulness and reliability of the reported information. And for that, we have actually expressed an unqualified opinion for predetermined objectives. And so, and also in respect of predetermined objectives, I think it is one of the key focus areas where we did not even raise one finding. In terms of the achievement of the planned targets, we do highlight where the members can go and look at, for instance, where the municipality has achieved their targets and where they have not achieved them, what the reasons for that are. And that is listed on the pages that they're noted in the presentation. In terms of this slide, it actually, this represents all the facets or the control areas that we look at in terms of how is the municipality implementing controls in order to drive the audit outcome. And as you can see, and it talks to the tone at the top being the leadership, it's showing green. And this is where, for instance, we are saying also that in terms of leadership, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing in terms of building the culture and culture of accountability and responsibility, and ensuring that policies and procedures are in place, and also ensuring that the audit action plans that they create after the audit, they're implemented. And this feeds into the financial and management controls. As you can see, in terms of the regular reporting and the compliance monitoring and the IT systems, we are saying it's of concern because we still have findings in that sphere. However, those are not material, which would have caused a regression and intervention would have been required. So in terms of the governance is also green, and that is in terms of MPAC Council, Audit Committee, Internal Audit, where we have assessed those areas and we have assessed that all the role players are doing what they're supposed to be doing. In terms of emerging risks, these are the risks that the management needs to keep abreast of, because then these are the ones that may actually cause issues in the future. That is the new standards that are coming up. And I think the most important one is relates to the SCM, especially with the implementation of the new regulations. So in terms of this, the biggest impact is that when you are looking now at also going forward, when we're assessing whether or not compliance was achieved for supply chain, there will be a split, which is auditing the requirements per the previous regulations and the new regulations. So I think that the most important thing is that the municipality needed to have plans in place to ensure that all the advertisements after the 15th of January follow the new regulations. And this is emerging risk, the one on the municipal staff regulations, which the municipality also just needs to keep abreast of to ensure that they comply. In terms of the annual performance report, even though we do not raise a opinion on it, we do look at additional criteria being the presentation and disclosure, where we're looking at whether or not the information that is in there is comparable and understandable to the user, and whether or not the municipality has reported on the relevant indicators. So in this respect, we have not had found any material findings. In fact, we had no findings on predetermined objectives. So that brings me to the end of the presentation. So I don't know if the members of the committee have any questions, Chair.
Thank you so much for the presentation from the Auditor General's office. Is there anyone in any councillor from any party who wants to ask questions? The first hand that I see is Councillor Porter, so I will give him the opportunity now. Thank you, Councillor Porter.
Thank you, Chairperson.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson. Sorry for the delay there. And also, apologies if I may be short of breath while participating in this meeting. Thank you for the presenter for this. I think it's quite a comprehensive report. When we look at the drivers of internal control, it is good to see the green areas that reflect. Much as we are happy with the green areas, I think we should be cautious about yellow areas that might subsequently, if we don't caution ourselves, allow ourselves to move into, what is it, pink or red areas, and of which those red areas is not reflecting. Regular reporting and compliance monitoring is absolutely key when we deal with our municipal finance. And as the Patriotic Alliance and party to this MPAC committee, I want to stress the importance of these departments responsible for yellow, which may not be very serious at the moment, but to be absolutely cautious not to drop below the yellow mark. And that is in respect of that one. Thank you. Can I move to, sorry, the other one, let me just, or irregular expenditure, can the presenter just take us there quickly in order for me to reflect on that? Now, yes, Chair.
Yeah, no, we can ask the presenter to go back. It's not a problem.
Okay,
Yes,
okay.
yes,
I just
yes.
have two issues. I just have these two issues to cite.
All
So,
right.
mine on this one is that we have over 1 million irregular expenditure, and it is of great concern. My big question is, if we are paying people in excess of what we are supposed to pay, then I think this forum is appropriate in its capacity to deal with those who is guilty of this, which I presume to be a transgression, to make clear those names that is subjected to disciplinary processes, and also the beneficiaries of these over 1 million rand. And the reason for this is there's a clear trend in the municipality. When we talk about redressing the past and creating equal opportunities, it should also be very importantly noted that these opportunities must also reflect when we allocate tenders, when we allocate opportunities in business within the municipality. But the clear trend is evident that we have people over tens of years accumulating more contracts in this organization or municipality, while others who equally have a right to tender is marginalized and not having opportunities to do so. We would want to have these names of companies and or institutions that benefited from this 1 point whatever million rands to be made known in this meeting. Thank you very much, Chair.
Chair, on the irregular expenditure, I think the disclosure itself obviously doesn't produce or they do not disclose the names. In terms of our audit process, we actually did go look at the actual incidents themselves, and obviously in terms of what has been disclosed, we did not identify any errors with that. And also for us, going forward, we do look at the implementation of the in terms of consequence management, where if a transgression is identified, is appropriate action taken. So in terms of that audit as well, for consequence management, which falls under compliance, as you indicated, we did not have any issues from consequence management point of view that we have also raised as findings throughout the audit. So that is that on our side, and I think maybe other processes that need to be followed will be assessed as well in the next audit. But in terms of our understanding and experience, the municipality does actually address those issues, which, as you can see, there has been an improvement in terms of incidents identified that result in irregular expenditure.
Thank you so much for the feedback. I just want to say to Councillor Porter, what we also decided, the Auditor General's office, they give us a brief overview of the outcomes of the Auditor General's report. Now, normally, except for their briefing that they gave us, there's also a management report, what they give back to management, that describe everything that they find in detail. So here on this report, they will say regular reporting, that is a concern for them. Compliance monitoring is a concern, towards it's yellow, and then also of a concern is IT system controls. But in the management report, they give detail about for the reasons why they said so. So what we arranged with the municipal manager, and also in the MPAC meetings where I, as a chairperson, attend in Cape Town, we are allowed, just as the committee, to go and read the full report. That is the management report. So that's why I arranged with them that all the members of this committee who's on MPAC, they can come to the office, because that is a confidential report that is not for the public, but the MPAC committee can see that report. So I have arranged that, Councillor Porter. So all of the committee is welcome to come and see for themselves what is in the full management report. It's a thick and thorough report that gives you a better understanding. Thank you. The next one is Councillor Gwaza. His hand is also up. Thank you, Councillor Gwaza. You're welcome.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to find out, I heard that about, can you hear me, Chair?
I hear you properly. You can speak.
Okay, thank you. I just want to thank you for the report. I just want to find out through you, Chair. You mentioned something about findings in human settlements. I just need clarity there, Chair.
Are you ready for that answer?
Yes, Chair. I don't think it was it related to findings. However, it is underfunding itself, the reason for the underspending on the capital budget, which was as a result of incorrect gazetting by an amount of 67.5 million from human settlements. And because of the timing for it, the municipality did not have appropriate time to adjust their budget. So to include to correct the amount, and that actually shows as a underspending on the municipality side.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think we also discussed it. I think with our budget, we also discussed that. But I will give opportunity for Mr. Director Venter. Maybe you can just explain it again. Director Venter.
Thank you, Chairperson. Now, just to perhaps give more clarity, it's a matter of a mountain view. Chair, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you properly. You can
okay,
speak.
it's what happened there. It's a matter of Mountain View housing project. As members of a committee will know that it's actually a provincial project, meaning that the Department of Human Settlements province is implementing the project. So what happened is they gazetted the amount for that project under our name, the municipality's name in the gazette, as if the municipality will receive a grant for that project. But we never have and still don't have any financial agreement with the department for Mountain View project. So it was their financial manager actually acknowledged that it was an oversight on their side. It should not have been gazetted like that. The money was supposed to be gazetted under the name of a provincial department for the Mountain View project. And what happened, this was too late communicated to the municipality, and there was no opportunity for our finance department to reflect it in any adjustment budget. So that is what happened. Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, no, I remember this one. Yeah, thank you so much, Director Venter. Is there any other questions for the Auditor General's office? Any other questions? And I just, before I see, I don't see any hands now. Oh, there's Councillor Gous. Councillor Gous, you're welcome to speak.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you also to the Auditor General for the report. I thought it was quite comprehensive. Sorry, who's speaking?
No.
Or do I just have feedback on my system here? There we go. That's better. Chair, I just wanted to extend my thanks to you and also to the Auditor General for the feedback. All the questions that I do have are for our administration, so I'm happy with the Auditor General's report, and I have no questions further for them. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councillor House. If you can just lower your hand, then it's fine. Thank you so much. If there's no other questions, let me give another moment. No, there's no one. If there's no other questions, then I want to thank Ms. Ntos, Ms. Nzamela for their presentation. It was received very well, and I know they have a lot of work to do. So they're welcome to stay in the meeting if they want to, if they want to sit for the whole annual report, but they are also welcome to leave if they want to. So thank you so much. I just need to check the only councillor that didn't came in was Councillor Mvumvu, but I also see Councillor Willie Liebenberg is in. Councillor Liebenberg, welcome at the meeting. And I also want you to give greetings to that beautiful wife of yours. Thank you so much. Yeah, the Auditor General's office, thank you so much. Now we will carry on with the rest of our business. And I really urge the members of the MPAC committee to take this opportunity to go through the full management report. It's a very thick report, but it will give you a better understanding of the presentation that was just given to you. And it will give you more insight. Last year, I had an opportunity to go through it, and it gave me a better understanding. So now we have now the permission for all the members to go through that report. That is the one thing. The other important thing that we decide before we come to the annual report, we are in discussions with the administration. I asked both the municipal manager and also for our director for finance, our CFO, Mr. Orlando Fredericks, whether his personnel, I don't say it must be tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, whenever they are ready, we need a MPAC internal capacity building session so that you know, most we have every quarter we have a 52 report, and 6 monthly we have the 72 reports. But all of them together, we know it was 51 reports, financial statements. So we need to go in more detail in a 1 month report that they call a 71 report, so that we can have more insight. Because if you come to 52 and it's 3 months and it's 6 months, there's no detail. We want for the council, for the MPAC members, we want to open the bonnet of this boot even more, so that we can really grow within this MPAC committee. So this is our next step. I will give you feedback whenever the administration is ready, and then we will have this capacity building session so that you can know more insight about what happened within our municipality in more detail, so that when we have 52 reports and 72 reports, then we know exactly what is going on and how is it working. So that is another thing. And then, yeah, so that is from my side, and I think it's very important. And now we want to give the municipal manager, Mr. Colin Puren, the opportunity for his presentation for the annual report before we go and interrogate in that report. So thank you so much, colleagues and members. Mr. Colin Puren, if you are ready, just indicate. Then you can go.
Chairperson, thank you so much. I greet yourself. I greet the members of the MPAC committee, our councillors. I greet our directors, our supporting staff, and also the people. It seems as if the people from the AGS excuse themselves. I can mention, Chairperson, that the time they spent with us, it was a good time that they spent with us. It was a very good working relationship with them. So Chairperson, without any further ado, I've got a lot of slides. I think it's about 6 slides. I hope that the committee will bear with me. It's going to take about half hour and a half for all the slides to go through. So I hope everybody will bear with me. No, I'm joking, Chairperson. It's 16, and the Auditor General has already referred to one of the slides that I have. So it really shouldn't take long. Now, the first thing, Chairperson, is the legislative context, and we know that the annual reports is written about in the MFMA under Section 121. And it says there that every municipality and every municipal entity must, for each financial year, prepare an annual report in accordance with Chapter 121 of this MFMA. The council must, within 9 months after the end of the financial year, deal with the report. And then if we can move on, Section 1272 says the mayor of the municipality must, within 7 months after the end of a financial year, table in the municipal council the annual report of the municipality, and of end of entities. We don't have an entity. And at the bottom of that slide, Chairperson, maybe you can just move back over, you're a bit fast for us. The bottom of that slide, you can see there the annual report was tabled to council in January 2023 under Council Resolution E201 2023. That was within the time frame as stipulated in the MFMA. We can move on over. The legislative requirements continued. Section 1291 says that the council must consider the annual report of the municipality. And at the bottom there, you can see there's ABC, the things that's important. It has approved the annual report with or without reservations. It has rejected the annual report, or it has referred the annual report back of revision of those components that can be revised. That's basically the decision that council can take as far as that is concerned. And then 129.2, very important, Chairperson, you can move on over. The accounting officer must attend the council and council committee meetings where this report is discussed for the purpose of responding to questions concerning the report. You can see, Chairperson, that we've got the whole of the management team here, because the accounting officer it will not be possible for him to answer all the questions that come out of here. Next slide, Obas, is the next slide is a municipal accountability cycle, which I'm sure is all the councillors and officials are familiar with. It all starts with our IDP. From the IDP flows our budget, and then we compile our SDBIP to measure performance. And then as we measure performance, we look at the in-year reporting consisting, you mentioned it extensively now, Chairperson, your Section 71 report, which is a monthly report, your Section 52 report, which is a quarterly, and then the half-year report, the Section 72 report. And then from there, Chairperson, we compile our financial statements, which flows into our annual report, where we are basically now. And as we've mentioned earlier, the report was already tabled by the mayor in January, and we are moving towards the oversight as it is today. After the tabling, the report went out for public comments, and it comes back to the MPAC to do the oversight of the report. And from there, obviously, it will go back to council. The next slide, Chairperson, basically just outlines the components of the annual report. It comprises of 6 chapters as well as appendixes, and then the annual financial statements. Now, if you all received the report, Chairperson, it's quite extensive. It consists of about almost 220 pages if you include the appendices as well as the AFS. Otherwise, we can move on. That slide, Chairperson, the Auditor General alluded to. We can be proud. I think they gave us a very good report. We sustained our clean audit status, unqualified with no findings for 2021, 2022. Thanks, Obi. Chairperson, just a few highlights from service delivery highlights from now on, which is not much. And we're going to start off with water provision highlights. It's clear to every one of us. We had 310 preventative maintenance tasks completed, 286 water meters replaced, 609 new water connections, compared to 445 in the previous financial year. Mr. Naidu and his guys encountered 494 counts of burst water pipelines, which are repaired, and then 619 water meters related to repair work that was completed. Some interesting facts under, let's go back. Interesting facts, we have 7 water purification plants, 30 pump stations, 55 reservoirs, with a total design capacity of 72.3 megaliter per day. Our average daily volume purified is 21. For 21-22 is 34 megaliters per day. So Mr. Naidu do still have some capacity left. Then if we look at sanitation provision highlights, 1744 preventative maintenance tasks completed, 441 new sewer connections, blockages more than 2,700, and then 64,000 kiloliters of sewage discharge at wastewater treatment plant. Some interesting facts is basically 73 sewer pump stations that we have, 7 wastewater treatment plants, and once again there, the design capacity of our plants, 22.54 megaliter per day. We're running at about 12.4 per day. So Mr. Naidu, once again, through foresight, Chairperson, and good planning, we do have capacity left. The main challenge, Chairperson, as far as this the department's concerned, is it remains illegal dumping of foreign material and objects into our sewer systems, on which, if you can look there, 2,701 blockages on which our personnel must spend many hours to rectify. The next slide, Chairperson, will show us a few highlights regarding electricity provision. There we can see preventative maintenance tasks completed was 3,163. We had 14 operations to remove illegal connections. 983 illegal connections were removed during operations, those 14 operations. And then compared to the previous year was 429. And then 874 informal.
Can we have silence, please, there in the background? I don't know who it is. Let the municipal manager finish his presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, 874 informal and formal households were electrified as part of our UISP. This is quite good compared to 406 the previous year. And then, Chairperson, we can move on over to refuse provision highlights. Refurbishing of the Kwangaba waste disposal facility and Herbazale waste disposal facility was undertaken in the financial year. The department managed to purchase 2 new compactors. It's important that we have new compactors to, replenish our fleet often, Chairperson, so that we can deliver a very high standard of service. We had some open days for collection and disposal of household hazardous waste. The monthly recycling rate for 21-22 was between 15 and 20%, 22%, which exceeds the applicable national targets. So the department did quite well in sensitizing our communities to undertake recycling. And then various education and awareness campaigns were conducted during the year under review. We can move on over us, and then highlights for infrastructure service. Once again, Chairperson, there's a lot of it. We have our Ernest Robertson pipeline to Sandweg. There's a lot of capital projects that were completed. We can just look at the percentages on the right-hand side. Streets and stormwaters, 81.44, water 90%, sewage 85%, and electricity 96.55%. Chairperson, this was exceptionally well if we look at the challenges we had to face in the previous financial year as far as SEM is concerned. So my final slide is then basically the financial ratio dashboards. As per the annual financial statements, the CFO asked that we must say something about finance as well, Chairperson, and I think we've seen that. We've seen the slide already. We've got 4 ratios there, of which only 1 was orange or yellow, not 100% green. And we missed that. It's the number 3 debtors payment ratio. The norm is 95%. We managed to keep it at 94.7%. Chairperson, that's basically all that I have to say to the committee. I hope we didn't take too long. Thank you.
Municipal Manager, thank you so much. Now we will start with our question session, questions and answering session. I will start with Councillor Faisal Porter. Councillor, you can go. Faisal, you're welcome. Ne? Councillor Porter, are you there?
Thank you, Chairperson. Thank you, MM, for the report. My apologies. I think this thing mute, and I'm struggling to mute and unmute here. The second last slide of the MM stealing. Can you take us there, please? The second last slide of MM.
This is the highlights of the infrastructure.
I think so. That percentage is over there.
Oh yeah. It's page 7. Yeah, is that one?
Yes. Just a question, and then obviously, upon answering that, I want to have a follow-up. The percentages that we are seeing in blue, roads and stormwater 81.44%, and then you continue down. What does this mean? Does it mean roads and stormwater out of the capital expenditure or the budget of 100% budget? There's an expenditure of 81.44. Is that the correct understanding? And upon answering, I would want to have a second one. Thank you, Chair.
Right. Thank you, Councillor. Municipal Manager.
Chairperson, no, the council is correct. What we say is out of. Let me just see. There's something. Chairperson, can you hear me better now?
Yeah, now I can hear you properly.
Thank you. Chairperson, no, the councillor is correct in the way he interprets it. For the total capital expenditure for roads and stormwater, we managed to spend 81.44% of the capital budget. That's correct, eh?
All right, Councillor Porter,
Okay.
you can
Thank you.
follow up.
Then thank you, Chair. Thank you, MM. Then of course mine would be on your third item, let's say sewage, and this is obviously a very off-the-record discussion that I had in our last council meeting, which I attended just before I fell sick. But also important to note the writings between myself and the director, Naidu, in this regard. This has bearing to the challenges that we have, long-standing challenges, lifetime challenges with Bartelsfontein 2 in particular, where we're still sitting with bucket systems. Now, the department responsible have sent me 2 options that they think they would eradicate the bucket system. Or if you look at 85.85%, and my understanding is correct in terms of how this percentage reflect, it will then therefore means that the municipality would have been in a better position and or had enough capital for 2021, 2022 to eradicate the bucket systems in this, let's say, 11 households at Bartelsfontein. Now, our informal discussion bears the following, is to say that I must write another letter after the capital budget has already been finalized. Meaning that even if I write now again, in fact, the question would remain as to why should I keep on writing? So even if I write now, it would inevitably mean that Artisfontein 2 would only be on in discussion for the eradication of the bucket system in the next financial year. Point that I'm trying to make is, from what is being presented here, it is our understanding that the municipality had enough capital to eradicate this bucket system. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Porter. Municipal Manager, who will answer yourself or the or Mr. Naidu?
Chairperson, now I can respond to Councillor Porter. We must bear in mind that this is history, Chairperson. It's a previous financial year. And what we're reporting on is Council's capital budget that was approved by Council. We say everything that was approved, we managed to spend 81.44% of the money that Council approved. If something is not on the capital budget, we cannot spend on it, then we will have fruitless and wasteful expenditure or even irregular expenditure. So I know that Councillor Porter discussed the matter with me also. And I also advise him to put something in writing so that Council can consider it for future budgets, Chairperson. Future budget starts on the 1st of July this year. The final date for the budget to be approved will be the 31st of May. So I want to urge the Council, it's not too late for him to put anything. The budget will be tabled at the end of this month, and then it goes out for public participation, the proposed budget. So what we reporting on here is stuff that happened in the 21-22 financial year. And as far as budget is concerned, it can only be projects that was approved during that year by the Council, Chairperson. We cannot, it's difficult for us to respond to the Council's question, or his comments, but I will advise him to still put it in writing so that we can see if Council can consider to put it in the next budget, which starts 1st of July. Thank you, Chairperson.
All right. Thank you, Municipal Manager. I understand fully. Yeah, I understand that. Any other questions? Councillor House.
Thank you, Chairperson. I have a few, not really questions, because I submitted quite a few of them to the administration during the course of the week. And I'd like to express my thanks for all the replies that I received. I know that it's a very busy time of the year for them as they're prepping for the draft budget. So I just want to express my thanks. Chair, also through you, I'd like to express my appreciation to the administration for the annual report, but not just for the compilation of it, but also for the standard of services that they are providing to the community of Mossel Bay. I am such a proud councillor of this municipality. And I know that the moment I bring something to the administration's attention, it receives immediate action. And I am so grateful for that. However, Chair, there is always a however. As a councillor of the municipality and as an opposition councillor politically, I believe that it is also my role to scrutinise the actions of the municipality, to scrutinise the finances of the municipality, and to raise issues through the correct forums, which I have done throughout this year under discussion, both in committees and also in the council chambers. And in the absence of our speaker, I do want to thank her for the role that she has played in allowing a very fair and democratic process within our council chambers, in allowing all councillors to express their views and ask questions and so on. And also to our municipal manager and his administration that are quick to provide answers when we request for information. Chair, the first issue that I would like to raise and ask the committee, the MPAC committee, to consider, our municipal manager, as we went through the report that he provided now, you can see he did explain the capacity that we have for sewerage and water provision and so on. However, I did in previous years ask that we be circumspect in the approval of further developments. I can see that we do have capacity, but I'm not sure how long that capacity is going to last while we continue to approve developments at the rate which we are. I'm thinking not just of water and of sewerage, but I'm thinking also of road infrastructure and then the maintenance of the current infrastructure that we have. Although our repairs and maintenance percentage of the budget has increased, I think if this report, if I remember correctly, we were sitting at 7%, which is a gradual improvement that we've had over the years, because initially we were not spending enough on repairs and maintenance. And so I'm thankful that we are now spending 7%. However, my concern is that as developments increase at the rate which they are, that we might run into trouble in the years ahead. So that's a first concern from my side that I would like the committee to note. Then the second issue that I would appreciate being noted, Chair, if I may ask that this may please be included in the minutes, that my comments be included in the minutes. The contract management. I have, with previous MPAC annual report meetings, I have requested that the municipality provide councillors and the public with a report, including the performance of contracts that we have with outside companies. This has been included recently in our supply chain management reports that we've received. We've had some feedback on contractors that are not performing according to standard. So I appreciate that, but I would like to see it included in our annual report on a yearly basis. Then something else, the third thing that I'd like to mention is the damage that this municipality has suffered due to vandalism and theft. I have on several occasions also asked if the municipality is laying charges regarding particularly the theft of copper wire from our lamp poles and so on, specifically because that cost just to replace that which is stolen. I think the last calculation I made, a very conservative calculation, was 632,000 Rand a year. That is just if we're repairing between 30 to 40 lamp poles. That's not including all the other copper theft that we have. And it's also not including the costs of vandalism. I can't recall seeing anywhere in the report that there was a cost provided, you know, an estimated cost. I understand we can't quantify it completely, but I would also like to see that in the report, that the cost of vandalism. If I have missed it, I would be happy for the administration to point it out to me if we have quantified that cost at all. But I also would like to encourage our administration that we address these issues firstly through the law, through the laying of charges. I did ask in my questions whether, you know, how many cases had been laid at the SAPs and what resolutions there were, but I was told that there isn't a record kept of that. I would like us to see that we keep a record of what charges are laid at SAPs and what the follow-up is on those charges, if there are any arrests, if there are any prosecutions, and what the punishment is for those. Because if we are following that route and perpetrators are being prosecuted and punished, then I believe that that needs to be part of the information that we pass on to the public in order to discourage further vandalism and theft. And then the other thing that I would like to see this municipality do with regards to vandalism and theft is to educate our residents regarding the direct cost that it is to them. They need to understand that the cost of replacing that copper wire in our lamp poles at 632,000 a year has to come directly out of their pocket, because that's where this municipality gets money. It gets money from the residents, and that money has to be recovered via the services fees. So even the poor are paying for the theft and vandalism that this municipality is struggling with. Chair, I then have a concern that I'd like to mention regarding the social and economic development reporting. I understand that, let me first say it like this. I appreciate the work done in that department and in that directorate. I do, however, would like to see some of the reporting changes, particularly when it comes to the section on page 67, which stipulates it's actually a report back on the main employment sectors. I asked, it explains on that page how many people in our town are employed by the different sectors. For example, tourism, for example, agriculture, for example, services, etc. But I asked what percentage of the budget on local economic development is spent on those specific sectors, and I was told that the municipality does not make that calculation. I would like to suggest that we do, because if we do that, we will not be investing blindly in the different economic sectors. If we know what percentage we're spending and what kind of a return we're getting on employment, we will be better able to focus our energies and our money on developing areas where there's actually a return. I'm concerned that local economic development money is being spent in sectors where we're not seeing sufficient return on the money, and the only way to ascertain that is to actually do that calculation. Then the illegal connections that we have with the electricity theft. Our MM in his report also highlighted how many actions had been taken. I would like to ask if the information is available now. Sorry, I'm just distracted. I thought it said Councillor Gous has made an apology. Her laptop battery died, and I'm like, no, I don't think so. Can everybody still hear me? Hello?
Hello, yes, we hear you.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Councillor Gous,
Yes.
we hear you properly. It's Councillor Gwaza that sent us a message, so it's fine. You can continue.
Thank you so much, Chair. Regarding the illegal connections, I'd like to know, of all those operations done, I think it was 14 operations, how many of them were return operations? How many times did we have to go back to exactly the same areas and take down wires at exactly the same home? And what is being done? Are charges being laid against those people that are stealing electricity? That's a question. The other three were comments that I'd like minuted and concerns, but that's a question. Then my second question, Chairperson, is the contract that we have with DebtPac to manage our debtors book and the potential bad debt of some accounts. I asked if, because during the COVID period, there was a moratorium placed on the collection of debt. This means that DebtPac would have lost some revenue because they charge us per letter sent out, per phone call made, per action that they take. So obviously for that period, they would have had a loss of income. I have seen that there has been a reply from the municipality where they said that that income that was lost over that period was recovered by DebtPac after the moratorium was lifted. However, my question was, did DebtPac ask us for any kind of reimbursement for revenue that they lost during that period? That question was not answered. Then I would like to mention under the social economic development, this is again, Chair, this is not a question. It is a matter arising from the annual report, but also relating to the report that we receive in the committees in council in this year the year under review, where for example, Ridgeview Primary School was visited by our social department in conjunction with other organizations, and teenage pregnancies were addressed. These teenage pregnancies were addressed by using the Comprehensive Sexuality Education Program. Chair, this is a program that has been rejected by parents all over South Africa, and I cannot understand why the Mossel Bay municipality is involving themselves in ideological matters. It is not a core function of this municipality to educate children regarding their, please note, not sex education, but sexuality education. I have in the past mentioned what that entails in council, and I don't want to have to do it again because it's highly offensive, even for married adult persons, let alone instructing children in these matters. So I would like to see the municipality scale back on these kind of things. In my opinion, it has got nothing to do with us. It's not in any way a core function of this municipality. The desalination plant, 2.4 million spent on repairs and maintenance. This is an annual amount. Nothing is being recovered from the desalination plant. And I'd like us to do some kind of a calculation on what it would have cost if we had shut this plant down or mothballed it. I know it's mothballed to a degree, and this 2.4 million is basically just to keep it running because of those filters and things. But I'm not convinced yet that we couldn't be saving money if we look at the forecasts and see what the necessity will be or the probability will be that we might need the desalination plant in the next 5 years, even 4 years even. Then, Chair, one of the issues that I raised with the administration was reporting on ward committees. On page 200, there were no meetings listed, and I was informed that corrections were done, but these corrections were not forwarded to me. So I'd like to know, were all 4 meetings held? Were all ward committees active in that year? That's my second question. Then the third thing that I'd like to mention, as I mentioned, every single annual report, contingent liabilities are not provided for in our budget. And every single year, the Auditor General questions us on that as well. Then I have a further concern. The concern is regarding our rentals to our larger rentals. Let me phrase it like that. So, for example, our rental agreement with Coliseum. I have, on 3 separate occasions now, addressed an email to the municipality requesting information on whether certain businesses that have contracts with us for rental, if they are paid up in full, are they in arrears, are there any challenges being experienced with their rentals and with payments, because I feel that residents' money needs to be taken care of. And in that respect, that is something that we need to be on top of. So I would like some kind of a reply on that today as well. I messaged through email the administration regarding the employee costs that were expressed as a percentage of the operating budget. And at 22%, we all noted that it was extremely low and more than likely not truly reflective of real employee costs. And we were told, I was told that it's due to a 240 million impairment cost due to new evaluations of, or new valuations of municipal property. So I did ask, what is the closer, you know, if you remove that 240 million from the equation, and I was told it was closer to 26%, which still seems very low to me. I would like to ask the committee that we note that that is closer to the real employee costs expressed as a percentage of their operating budget. Then I need to raise a concern regarding the compilation of our budgets. Looking at the annual report, Chair, as we now head into this time at the end of this month, in Council, we will be presented with the draft budget and we'll have an opportunity to comment. And then the budget will be accepted in Council or rejected, well, obviously accepted, by the 31st of May, that has to be done. So we will have an opportunity to comment on the compilation of the budget, the expenses in any case. What I would like to note, though, that we please remember when we compile this budget, that in this report, this year under review, we posted a trading loss for this Mossel Bay municipality. It's not the first year either. And this is despite the fact that an extra approximately 23 million, if I'm reading the financial statements correctly, was received in revenue that we did not budget for. In other words, despite the fact that we got 23 million rand more than what we were expecting, we still posted a trading loss. This is a concern for me because we cannot continue operating on our budget not being, I understand we have a funded budget once we start receiving all the different other incomes, but when we look just at trading, we are sitting at a loss and we need to be able to recover our expenses from trading and other income. So I'd like us to look at that. And then, Chair, yes, I think that is all I'd like to mention. I would just like an answer to those two questions. Thank you for your patience. And thank you also to the committee and the administration for allowing me to raise all my questions now and my concerns. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Gous. That is a mouthful, né? I just want to
Yes, it is.
just want to thank the administration. Yesterday, they were scurrying around with all these questions, and they was prepared to try to answer in the small space of time to be ready for us for today. So thank you so much for the administration for all the difficult work that they had to do in a small space of time. From my side, I just want to say, before we put anything within the annual report, we just want to answer questions and find out are we correct. Because we can't put in the report before we was answered. So that is the one thing. We need to support our council because we want also to iron out issues and we also want to assist. That is our role. But we want to do this as a committee. Yeah, so that's what I want to say. Let us get the answers, because if I put something in the report and now this thing is in council and I didn't check my facts, then they say to me in council, but you are not factual. And then I will be in trouble. So let us just check all our facts and then we can do it in that way. But now we will first answer questions. Municipal manager, must I give to Mr. Venter, or will you answer first?
Chairperson, no, I just want to thank the councillor and all the members for the gratitude Councillor Gous expressed towards the administration. I share sentiments as far as that is concerned. When she started, chairperson, I showed Obas a thumbs up. He's sitting in my office. I said, there will be no further questions from Councillor Gous. And then she said, but chairperson, no, I think I'm glad that she divided the comments into questions and concerns. I've jotted down 11 concerns in total. And then the 2 questions. The one is about the illegal electricity connections. How many times we must return to go and remove the same. I'm going to give Mr. Naidu the chance to respond to that. And then as far as the DebtPack contract is concerned, I'm going to ask the CFO to respond to that, chairperson. So if you will allow Mr. Naidu, chairperson, he can explain, because it's a very, very tough job, chairperson, that they are busy with outside.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Municipal Manager. Before Mr. Naidu start, I also want the CFO, while he will give his answer, I also want him to throw in the 22% employee cost. That is so low, 22%, because it's good for us as a municipality, because we must just make sure we are under 35%. So 22% is great, and it's even 26% is great, but it's a concern to know why are we so low. So I also want to know about that one. So you can also answer that one also. Thank you. Mr. Naidu, you're welcome.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, as far as the illegal connections are concerned, as we've indicated earlier, or as MM indicated earlier, is done in conjunction with the SAPS. Okay. Now, on several occasions, charges were laid at the local police station. On 2 occasions that I'm aware of, I know of people that, I think it was foreign nationals, were detained by the police. On one occasion, information was given to the police. In fact, we've taken the person, we've actually caught him red-handed, interfering with the municipal mains, and we've taken him to the police station. I think, under the circumstances that we work, it's actually very, very difficult for the municipal officials to personally get involved in, laying charges at the police station, especially if they have to go into some of these areas after hours and provide or render services after hours. So it's extremely difficult, especially when our staff are intimidated all the time. We've had incidents where municipal vehicles were damaged whilst we were busy with the operations. We receive threats all the time. So it's actually very, very difficult for us to try and pursue this charges on our own. But I think with the help of the SAPS, we are not doing too badly. What we have also done is we have measured the losses in these areas. We actually put bulk meters at the mini substations, so we know more or less what the losses are that are attributed to illegal connections. What is also of importance is that in a lot of these cases, the homeowners, they pay contractors. There are illegal contractors that are operating in these areas, and they pay them a fee to get connected. Now, some of these, most of these areas, it's actually very, very poor people that you are dealing with. And, if you do end up charging the homeowner, you will get, it's almost impossible to get anything from that homeowner. But it's the contractors that need to be charged. And as I've indicated earlier on, the 2 incidents where people were charged are actually contractors, and there were actually foreign nationals involved. That is as far as the illegal connections are concerned. And Chair, I would really like to comment on the capital projects underspending, if you allow me as well.
Yeah, no, you're welcome.
All right. Chair, you will recall around February 2022, we received a circular or a notice from National Treasury indicating that in terms of the preferential procurement regulations, all SCM processes must be put on hold. Now that delayed various SCM processes by approximately 2 months. Now, many of our projects are multi-year projects. So what we do is that there's some projects where you do the design and tenders in the first year, and you start, the commencement of the project would start around March or April. But because of the 2 months delay, we ended up starting these projects around May, June. And in a lot of these cases, we had underspending. But it was underspending for the first year. The second year, the project would be completed. So that was the main reason for underspending under the streets and stormwater department, as well as the sanitation department. But the rest of the departments, we didn't encounter any major problems with underspending. I know there were also challenges with delays in the environmental approvals for projects that are along the coast. Chair, I also would like to respond on the desalination plant, if you allow me. There was a comment about the desalination plant standing, and we are incurring a lot of expenses. Now, you will recall that the desalination plant was constructed over 10 years ago, and it was in partnership with PetroSA. Now, currently, they contribute 1/3 towards the running of the desalination plant, and the municipality contributes another 2/3. Now, the desalination plant at that stage, it cost around 200 million rands. The contribution from the municipality side was around 30 million rand. The rest came from National Treasury and PetroSA. Now, that was quite a big, quite a significant contribution from outside the municipality. If you do construct a desalination plant today, it will cost you over 500 million. So it was a good investment at that stage. We have water security, and we have used the plant on many occasions. If we do lose the bulk pipelines between the dams and the water purification plants at Claimbrook, then you've got an alternate source of water within the Mossel Bay area. So, and that did come in handy on many occasions in the past when we had problems with the pipelines. So those are the comments from my side in response to some of the queries that were raised. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Director Naidu. Before we go over to the CFO, I just want to say also something about desalination plants. Just for us to keep in mind, if you go and look in what happened was desalination plants in Israel, then you will find out there's a huge problem there. And they are not using the small stuff that we are using. They are big desalination plants. But because of the fact that they pump the salt back into the sea, that makes the fish vanish. It just leaves. So we must just keep that also in mind when we talk about desalination or ontsoutingsaanleg. Now the next one is our Director, CFO, Mr. Orlando Fredericks. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chair. So with regards to the debt pack question, as per our response, there was no request from debt pack to supplement the revenue or how to help make up the revenue, for one. There is currently, as part of their contract, yes, they are paid for every letter sent out, but there's also a monthly administration fee that goes with their services. And then that specific query doesn't relate to the 21-22 financial year. That moratorium was still in the previous financial year. It's just something that we have to also keep in mind. With regards to the collections, I think when I joined, then we already had kicked in again, and they were back on track with regards to the collection of debt from all the on our behalf. Then, with regards to the 22% that was requested by the chair, the 22% of the employee as a employee costs or employee remuneration as a percentage of the total operating cost is a calculation that is done just purely based on what is reported in the financial statements between the relationship between employee-related cost and total operating expenditure. The reason that it's so low at 22% is a result of the impairment, and that ratio and that template is that ratio is all determined by National Treasury as part of the body that's responsible for the reporting in public sector, along with all other stakeholders like the AG. They all agree on how certain ratios need to be calculated and reported on. And so with that, if we had to just blankly look at the financial statements, or as an example, let's say, for instance, my total operating expenditure is 1 million rand, and my employee costs is 200,000 of that total million rand, then my percentage will be 20%. But for last year, as a result of the implementation of the new valuation rule that happened or that came about just before year end, we had to go and make provision, or at least we had to go and impair some of our assets as there was an adjustment as a result of the valuation rule, which meant that we increased our operating expenditure more than what we had thought or budgeted for for the 21-22 financial year. So if we increase the operating expenditure, that has a direct effect on that specific ratio, in that if the bottom line or our operating expenditure gets more, our percentage will decrease. If that did not take place, let's say we did not have the valuation rule that kicked in or that needed to be accounted for at the end of June 2022, we would have had an employee-related percentage of 26%, which, as Chair indicated, that's back in line within the range of the acceptable norms that has been communicated or communicated via National Treasury, of between 26% and 35% of your total operating expenditure. Similarly, if I can continue with regards to the trading, yes, there is on our financial statements, we do reflect that there is a deficit. It's not something that we plan for. Obviously, we started off the year with a deficit, but we did nicely to try and recoup and save where we could, which then would have resulted in a profit had we not have to account for the impairment of our assets and of the debtors that was paid at the end of the financial year. Just through you, Chair, the comment was made regarding the information that was not provided with regards to the rentals. Apologies, Councillor, for taking so long to respond. I was going to respond today to the matter. The reason that we take so long is we have to consider whether or not private information if we are allowed to provide that to council, as we are controlled or governed by POPI. With regards to some of the information that requested was previously supplied and responded to. And similarly, it's difficult to then give information of the residents out there or the businesses out there, as we have found in trying to assist some of the residents by intervening where we can. The question was asked, but why are we giving information out to councillors? And that's not I was called and shouted at and said that's not their business, because that is not public thing. There is a violation of their privacy, is what we were told. But I will try and provide some information. There is a lot of your specific ones. I know there were specific ones you referred to. They are up to date. They are in terms of the agreements that have been signed. So they're doing very well. With regards to the smaller ones, we are following up on that. We are referring to legal with regards to their contracts to see where and how where they have lapsed. if I can roughly give, there's about 1.4 million rand that's outstanding across the with regards to rental income, which we are now chasing from the finance point of view. Thank you, Chair.
Director Orlando, thank you so much.
I see Councillor Gous has a hand up again, probably follow up.
Yeah, Councillor Gous, I see your hand. You can shoot.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to just say that our CFO's comment regarding debt pack is noted. He is correct. It was quite difficult keeping my wits about me 9 months after the financial year and then still trying to not mix up what's coming up and what has happened. So thank you, CFO. That's well noted. So that comment or concern is then withdrawn. I would like to just, however, on the issue regarding rentals from the municipality, I'm concerned that our CFO was taken to task for providing information to councillors, particularly in light of the fact that we are specifically mandated to oversee the financial and other affairs of the municipality. So if there are large lessees that are in arrears with this municipality, it is a concern for councillors as we are working with residents' money. These people do not owe private businesses money, they owe the residents of Mossel Bay money. And as such, there should be a report on that. Thank you, Chair. I think I'll leave it at that.
All right. Thank you, Councillor Gous. Municipal Manager, on the last comments about the rentals, the larger rentals, let me put it like that. Do you want to respond on that, CFO?
Chairperson, maybe just a comment quickly, Chairperson. I hear what Councillor Gous is saying, and we do agree that the council has an oversight role over all issues in council. I want to refer councillors to the rules of order, Chairperson, rule number 69, which addresses the provision of information to councillors. And we haven't applied it the way we should apply it up to now, Chairperson. Clause number 3 of 69 said, and I want to quote it, that the request must contain sufficient information, the request from the councillor, to allow the municipal manager to identify and consider the information requested. Chairperson, I think CFO alluded to it. We find ourselves in a highly regulated environment as far as municipalities are concerned, and we as officials can easily put our foot into the wrong hole if we just give out information. The reason I believe that clause is in under 69 is for the MM to really evaluate is the information needed for oversight purposes or for other purposes, because if it's for oversight purposes, we will avail it. Apart from the fact that there's certain information that we are not allowed due to legislation to avail. The other reason is, Chairperson, if it's not for oversight, then we will have to advise the councillors to apply in accordance with PAIA. That's the only reason why we haven't, and I thank our councillors who really carry the interest of our employees at heart. So if there are good reasons, Chairperson, why the information is requested, we can still consider it. Apart from the fact that we don't want to overstep the POPI Act and so on. Yeah. So I hope councillors understand that. Sometimes if you ask a question differently, it might be easier to say, this company, are they in arrears, yes or no? Then we can tell you, yes, they are, or they are not in arrears, But to give sensitive information out, because if I know why the councillor wants it and we can apply our minds, then, Chairperson, we can take an item to council, because the Coliseum issue was raised at council meeting. There are resolutions about it. I think all our contracts has been tabled at council at one stage or another. That's basically the gist of it, Chairperson. Of course, we want to give our councillors all the information they need to perform the oversight roles. Yeah. Thank you, Chairperson.
All right. Thank you, Municipal Manager. Thank you so much. I just want to check whether there was a stage when Director Venter's hand was up. I just want to check with him if he still want to say something.
Chairperson,
not-
no, that was a wrong button pressed by myself. My apologies.
All right. Thank you, Director Venter. Is there any other questions? Is everything explained, understandable for everybody? I just want to say to councillors, if there's any unanswered questions, I think the Director Orlando Frederick also said there's still feedback that you will need to give to Councillor House. We will give all that feedback in time before our next council meeting, where the annual report is tabled. So if there's still questions that you want to ask, you can ask it at that meeting also. But if you want to sort it out before that, you can do also so. I think the doors of the directors is open. If there's no other questions, then we will come to our last point, that is our recommendation to council. And we will before the council meeting, when we recommend to council, we will put the stuff that we need as an MPAC committee to put in there to capacitate the council. We will do so, because we don't want situation whereby the Auditor General come this year and say this thing you must correct, and next year we have the same thing. We must check on all that kind of stuff that we sort it out before time. So if there's no other questions, we will go now to our recommendation, which is that the Municipal Public Accounts Committee, MPAC, which is all of us sitting here, reports to council that it has reviewed the 2022 annual report and recommends approval of the annual report by council without any reservations. We will, however, put in any recommendations to capacitate our council for what needs to be rectified or think about, and there is a few. Yeah, so, is there anyone that wants to propose?
Chair.
Councillor House.
Thank you, Chair. May I ask my request that we include in the report a note that once the 240 million rand impairment is removed from the calculation for employee costs, that the actual employee costs as expressed as a percentage is, I can't recall now if the CFO said 26 or 27%.
I think you say 26.
Roughly 20,
Okay.
around about 26, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
If we
fine.
can include that in our report.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor House, for that one. I think I will just ask the CFO to work out the exact percentage from the 240 million, so that they can put the exact amount of percentage in there. If it is 26.5, let it be 26.5. And then, yeah, so we will must do the explanation why. So that's fine. It's not a problem.
Chair, if I may, one last thing.
Yes, Councillor House.
The annual report that we received was obviously a draft copy up until this moment, when whatever we accept now is what the final annual report will be. So there were two issues that I did raise regarding the report. The one was the ward committee's meetings information that was not correctly or sufficiently populated. All the information wasn't in the report. I was told that that was corrected, but in the meeting now we did not get an answer on whether or not all the wards had all 4 their meetings. And then the other matter that I raised was just, I think it was information that had been, like the meetings of Councillor Annetjie Janse van Rensburg were attributed to Councillor Kampfer and vice versa, that was also corrected, so that the meeting just take note of those corrections. And also just reply to my question about whether all the ward committees did have the feedback meetings, the 4 meetings in each ward. And then that's me over and out. Thank you, Chair.
Yeah. No, Councillor Gous, like I said, we will go back and make sure that we have the correct answers about that 2 questions or 3 questions. And if your the way you see it is correct, then we will put it in. It's not a problem. But let us just check our facts first. Let me first see the CFO was first.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Chair. Just regards to the request to an additional disclosure in the annual report, I'm thinking now back into my old days. If we will then have to then run that change or additional disclosure by the AG as well, as they've as part of their process, they review the annual report to make sure there's no information that contradicts or disagrees with other information in the report. So cost may be incurred for them to now review and sign off on this additional change or disclosure in the annual report, even though it's only the annual report. So that's just something that you have to keep in mind as well, should we then make an additional disclosure.
All right. No, it's fine.
Chair,
Thanks.
Chair, may I please just explain myself?
Councillor Gous, just hang on. Municipal manager, okay. Let me quickly give Councillor Gous a chance. Maybe she was misunderstood.
Yes, I think, thank you. On a point of explanation, Chair, I'm not asking us to change the financial statements or even the additional disclosures on the financial statement. All I'm asking is that this MPAC committee's report to council should include a note that once the 240 million is removed from the calculation, what the employee cost percentage then is. So I don't want anything changed on the financial statements. The financial statements are correct. I would just like that included on our report, included in our report.
Yeah, just as a note. Thank you, Councillor Gous.
That's correct.
Municipal manager.
Chairperson, I just wanted to confirm what the councillor just said. We will definitely, Obas is listening. He's going to prepare the minutes. We will definitely include it into the council item, what the council is requesting. We understand it 100%, as well as some of the other concerns which she has mentioned that we alluded to earlier. So, Chairperson, no, we understand it 100%. We will do it as such.
All right. Thank you, Municipal Manager. Thank you, Councillor Gous. We will do so. Then I'm still looking now for my proposals. Anyone that propose the annual report? No. Silence.
Chairperson, I'm sure I can't propose, eh?
Yeah, I know, Municipal Manager. There's a lot of councillors here. And maybe I must read it for them again. That the Municipal Public Accounts Committee reports to Council that it has reviewed the 2022 annual report and recommends approval of the annual report by Council without any reservations. Now I want the proposal.
I propose, Chair, Councillor Kannemeyer.
Councillor Kannemeyer, thank you so much. And is there a seconder for Councillor Kannemeyer? I just want to say Councillor Anko Barker sent me a message. Her battery also died. Maybe the meeting was long. Is there a seconder? Any seconder? I'm the chairperson. I can't second. Is the members of the MPAC committees, are they still here?
Yes, I'm present, Chairperson.
Yes, Councillor Kutsia, are you the seconder?
It's for the recommendation. Yes, that's fine. Councillor Baron.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Loreway Kutsia. Then we have a proposer, and we have a seconder. So our annual report goes to council without any reservations. Colleagues, thank you so much. Thanks to all the councillors. Thanks to the administration. And thanks to Mr. Henry Laus. He's not Obas. What Obas means is the deputy. It's Mr. Henry Laus. Thank you, Henry, for all your hard work. And thank you for the AG's office and all the people of the community that were sitting in. Thank you for all of your support. Meeting adjourned. Love you all.
Thank you, Chair.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you
you,
to the
Chair.
administration. Appreciate
Bye-bye.
you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Bye-bye.